5 receiver and channel hearing aids can sit in a row and look almost identical. Same tiny body, same wire, same dome in the ear, but inside they are not the same machine. One is built to separate speech in a noisy restaurant. One uses motion sensors to change how it listens while you walk. One is designed around streaming, another around health data. This video opens the shell conceptually and shows how hidden architecture changes what you actually hear. Modern hearing aids started looking alike because the receiver and channel design solved several problems at once. The main body sits behind the ear, where there is room for microphones, a processor, a battery, Bluetooth hardware, and charging contacts. A thin wire carries sound to a tiny speaker placed inside the ear canal. That lets the device stay small, keeps the ear from feeling plugged, and makes the hearing aid less visible from the front. Rechargeable batteries push the shape even further. Designers needed enough space for a sealed power cell, while still keeping the case light enough to wear all day. Wireless pairing added another constraint, because antennas work better when they are not buried deep inside the ear. So the similar outer shell is not proof that the technology is the same. It is often the result of the same human requirements: comfort, cosmetics, battery life, durability, and stable phone connection. The real competition moved inward into the parts you cannot see: faster chips, microphone layouts, motion sensors, noise classifiers, wireless protocols, and apps that control how the device behaves in daily life. Phonak Audiosphere Infinio looks like a familiar rechargeable receiver and channel hearing aid, but its internal design is built around a split job. One part handles the normal work of a modern hearing aid: amplification, feedback control, streaming, environmental classification, and the everyday adjustments that happen as sound changes around the wearer. Phonak calls this platform Infinio. The second part is the unusual piece. In the Sphere model, Phonak adds a dedicated processor for speech and noise, called the Deep Sonic Chip. Its purpose is not to make everything louder. It is designed to separate speech from competing background noise in situations where a standard processing path can struggle, such as restaurants, group conversations, and busy public spaces. That makes the Audiosphere Infinio a 2-engine hearing aid. One engine manages broad listening needs. The other can be brought in for the hardest acoustic scenes, where the device needs more computing power to decide what is speech and what is interference. For the wearer, the visible result should be stronger focus on voices when noise is coming from multiple directions. The invisible cost is that extra processing is not free. More compute can mean more battery demand, and the fitting has to decide when that specialized mode should activate, how aggressive it should be, and how natural the sound should remain. This is a different philosophy from simply making a smaller, more efficient hearing aid. Phonak is asking whether the best answer to noise is a dedicated speech separation engine with enough power to do one difficult job well. The next question is whether intelligence should come from raw processing strength or from understanding what the wearer is doing in the moment. Oticon Intent takes a different route. From the outside, it is still a small receiver and channel hearing aid. Inside, the key idea is that sound alone may not tell the device what the listener actually wants. That is where Oticon's 4-dimensional sensor input comes in. The hearing aid looks at the sound scene, but it also uses head movement, body movement, and conversation activity. Those signals help it estimate listening intent. A person leaning forward, turning their head, and staying engaged in a conversation may need a different sound balance than someone walking through a noisy street. This matters because two places can sound similar to a hearing aid but demand different behavior. A busy cafe could mean active conversation with friends, or it could mean background noise while the wearer is focused on something else. Oticon Intent is built to use movement and interaction as clues, not just microphones. The other major piece is Oticon's deep neural network approach. In simple terms, the system has been trained on many sound examples, so it can recognize patterns in complex environments. The goal is not to close down the world and only push one voice forward. Oticon's philosophy is to preserve access to the full sound scene while giving more support to the sounds that are likely to matter. So the design is not just about more power, it is about personalization in the moment. That makes Oticon Intent a look-alike hearing aid with a very different internal logic, sensor-driven listening support. Next, we move to a device aimed at one of the hardest real-world problems, following group conversations, but it approaches that challenge from another direction entirely. Signia Pure Charge and Go IN is built around a different assumption. In a noisy place, the problem is often not one speaker in front of you. It is several voices appearing, disappearing, and moving around the room. That is why Signia describes its IX platform as conversation first. The device is designed for moments where people talk over each other, turn their heads, pass comments across the table, or shift between small side conversations. A normal directional system can help when the target voice stays in a predictable place, but real group conversation rarely behaves that neatly. The hidden difference is Signia's split processing approach. In plain terms, the hearing aid does not treat the entire sound scene as one big lump of speech and noise. It separates parts of the scene into different streams, so speech and background sound can be analyzed and handled more independently. That matters at a dinner table. One person may be speaking from the left, while dishes clatter nearby. A second voice may enter from the right. Someone across the table may respond before the first speaker has finished. Instead of simply narrowing focus in one direction, the system is built to detect and enhance multiple conversational elements as the scene changes. The same idea applies in meetings and family gatherings. People do not always take turns cleanly, and the listener may need access to more than one voice to follow the flow. Signia's internal architecture is aimed at keeping those speech streams usable without letting the room take over. So even though the shell looks familiar, the priority inside is separation. It is trying to split the conversation apart before deciding what to emphasize. But another lookalike device is built around a different hidden priority, not just hearing today's conversations, but connecting to the next generation of audio systems. ReSound Nexia takes that familiar hearing aid shape and builds much of its identity around wireless audio. The key detail is Bluetooth Low Energy audio. Instead of treating phone streaming as a bonus feature, Nexia is part of ReSound's push toward the next generation of direct audio connections, including Auracast-ready use where the full ecosystem is available. The idea is that a hearing aid may eventually connect not only to a phone, but to public broadcast audio in places like airports, theaters, classrooms, and conference rooms. That goal changes what matters inside the device. The antenna is not just a small component squeezed into the shell. Its placement affects connection strength, dropouts, and how reliably the hearing aid talks to phones and accessories. Power management also becomes critical because wireless streaming can drain a tiny battery quickly if the system is not designed carefully. Phone compatibility matters for the same reason. Two hearing aids may look almost identical on the ear, but one may have been engineered around a broader wireless ecosystem, while another treats connectivity as a secondary layer. For the wearer, the difference shows up when pairing is smoother, streaming is more stable, and future audio systems are easier to access. ReSound also connects this wireless focus with a long-running emphasis on natural sound access. In certain configurations, the company uses microphone strategies designed to take better advantage of where the ear sits on the head, rather than replacing that natural placement with a completely artificial listening pattern. So Nexia is not only an amplifier with Bluetooth added on, its internal design is shaped by communication between devices, phones, accessories, and eventually shared audio spaces. And that leads to the next shift. Some companies are not only trying to improve hearing, they are trying to turn the hearing aid into a body-aware wearable. Starkey Genesis AI pushes that body-aware idea further than almost anyone else in this category. From the outside, it can still be a receiver and channel hearing aid. Inside, Starkey frames it more like a small, wearable computer built around hearing, motion, and personal data. The platform uses a dedicated processing system designed to handle sound decisions quickly, while also supporting features that have nothing to do with simple amplification. That matters because speech processing is only one layer. Genesis AI can use onboard sensors to detect movement, estimate activity, and support health-oriented features through the companion app. In certain models and setups, Starkey has offered functions such as fall detection alerts, activity tracking, engagement tracking, reminders and translation, or transcription-style tools through the phone ecosystem. Those features do not make the hearing aid automatically better for every person. Someone who mainly wants clear speech in restaurants may care more about noise management and microphone behavior. Someone who dislikes apps may never use the health dashboard. Someone who is worried about charging routines may focus more on battery life than sensor features. But Starkey's design shows why two hearing aids with the same silhouette can belong to different philosophies. One device may be engineered mainly to clean up speech. Another may be built to stream audio. Genesis AI is closer to a hearing aid that also behaves like a sensor platform, sitting on the body all day. So the real question is not whether the shell looks modern or discreet. It is whether the internal architecture matches the life of the person wearing it. Active, tech-friendly, safety-conscious, simplicity-focused, or somewhere in between. So do not buy the shell. Compare the system. Noise handling, motion awareness, group conversation, streaming, health tools, comfort, battery routine, and professional fitting. Thanks for watching. In the comments, tell me which hearing aid you want compared next, or the listening situation that gives you the most trouble.